Good afternoon, YouTubers. As one of the people lucky enough to get an early access demo to Super Smash Bros. 4, I thought I'd give my thoughts. I know everybody wasn't lucky enough to get a code, but there are ways if you haven't gotten one yet. So let's get straight down to the nitty-gritty. I'm going to start this off with a few of my complaints because I want to get most of the negative stuff out of the way. I don't want you guys thinking, oh, he's just bashing on the game, he's one of those elitist snobs, yada yada, so on and so forth. I do have some complaints, and I want to get those out of the way before I get to the good stuff. One other thing, keep in mind, I know that this is a demo, and I know this is something they didn't have to give us, and so on and so forth, but because there's so much riding on Super Smash Bros. To get Nintendo out of their little deficit, Nintendo needs to push this game like crazy. One thing I am sorely unhappy about is the fact that this game was supposed to come out in summer. We all expected it near the end of July, which would have been perfect, but it got pushed back to the middle of autumn. After waiting so many years for this game already, all of the delays and setbacks and stuff are really putting us on edge, so putting out a decent demo would have been a great way to not only fill the time, but also make it up to us and give us a taste of what exactly we've been waiting for. Because this game has been delayed so much, and because it is such a highly anticipated title, and because Nintendo is putting so much of their faith into this game, they really needed to put out a good demo, so I'm going to be extra tough on the demo when I'm nitpicking. Oh, and one other quick thing before we get started on the real thing here. There's not going to be any gameplay or any music in this whatsoever. Of all of the game companies, Nintendo is the most anal about keeping their stuff off of YouTube, and if I put up even a little bit, there's a chance that they're going to try to tear down my channel. So the starting roster includes 3 old characters and 2 new ones. We've got Mario, Link, Pikachu, Mega Man, and the Villager. While a roster of 5 would be okay for most fighting games, I feel like it was a little bit light for a demo of Super Smash Bros. Simply because Super Smash Bros. Characters are bringing a lot of little gimmicks and little gameplay mechanics to the table this time around. For people who are testing the game seriously, I think they should have included some other characters with some mechanics that we've all had questions about. Some of them include, I think Bowser should have been in the demo, simply because he is one of the characters I know that they did the most work changing, because he used to be a super heavy character that nobody really wanted to play as, and he's still a heavy character, but they made his moveset a lot faster so he'd keep up in the metagame. That is really important. That is a really big change, and I think he should have been in the demo so that we could have seen how some of the heavier characters will work now. Little Mac should have been included too, since he is one of the only characters to come with a built-in automatic KO. That is a big deal. That's not something that you can just throw in there and not expect any fallback to happen whatsoever. I mean, he seems pretty easy to counter, but that's something that we need to be testing right now. We need to see if his little automatic KO punch will do anything to break the game's balance, so that's something that should have been included in the demo too. Rosalina is another character that really should have been in, because now that we haven't seen anything about the Ice Climbers, we need to see how this new dual character is going to play out, since she is really one of the only characters to have that kind of mechanic anymore. There are many, many examples of characters they should have included, like one of the transformation characters, so on and so forth. I don't want to stay too long on that one topic, but what I'm saying is the 5 characters they gave are good and were all necessary. They gave us enough of the old characters to see how the old characters are changed, and a couple of the new characters so that we can see how some of the new characters are going to interact. But I wish they would have taken it one step further to really impress us. Only one stage is available, which is fine. You only need one stage to test with, really. It's Battlefield, so it has the 3 platforms. Everybody should know what Battlefield is by now. And the interesting thing, for people who don't know, is every single stage can be turned into Final Destination now. You can just get rid of all of the gimmicks and everything and just have it be one flat platform. I fully understand why they did this, and I fully agree with it, and you can do it in the demo, so you can switch between Battlefield and just a regular Final Destination-ish stage, which actually makes it like playing with 2 stages, although on that note, I really wish they would have added another stage, maybe one of the newer ones, to kind of let us know what the artwork and stuff is going to be like. I know we can look at videos and stuff, but I would have liked to have played on one of the stages that they plan on introducing, or even play on one of the older stages redone, like the Jungle Japes that they've been showing so much. My biggest complaint is there is no options menu. I mean, it's there, but you can't select it. That is awful. There's no reason that should have happened at all. Another thing that I don't really like is the circle pad. The circle pad is fine, but I'm not really clicking with it. I don't really like it. It's kind of like trying to play a fighting game on the old PSP with that nub. It just doesn't really work. Plus, I have a slight sweating problem, not afraid to admit it, and my fingers slide all over that circle pad when I'm trying to control it. This isn't that huge of a deal, obviously. Like, I can learn to adapt to it and get used to it, but I'd much, much rather use the D-pad. And because there's no options, I couldn't switch it over to the D-pad or see if that was even possible. It might be possible that they just don't offer that option at all. I'll never know because it wasn't in the demo. I didn't actually get a chance to try the local play, but I have heard that the local play is nearly perfect. There have been no reports of lag whatsoever when it comes to local play. It was also a very good move on their part to include local play in the demo so that we can try it out, because chances are you're mainly buying Smash Brothers to play with other people. It's only a demo, so that's really all I can talk about. The characters look great. The characters control like a dream. This is one of the best handling Smash Brothers I've ever played, and it's on a handheld. The gameplay has been upgraded. It is now very fast, kind of like Melee, like almost on that Melee level with how quick the gameplay is now. They've added extra particle effects so that it's harder to lose your character. One thing I really like is if you land a smash attack that is for sure going to knock out an opponent, it creates this really nice shockwave effect so that everybody knows what's going on. Sakurai promised that the characters would run at 60 frames per second. So far, I'm not really technical, but I've noticed that the characters run really well. They are very smooth, and I hear that they're just that smooth in local play too. So I don't want this to be a super long video, and I noticed that I've just hit the 7-minute mark. I'm going to go ahead and go over the characters really quickly and give my rundowns of what I thought of them before I move on. Mario is still about as vanilla as he's always been. He's a very easy character to pick up, play, learn the controls with. His moves combo a lot better in this. One of my favorites is if you use his down smash, AAA, all of it hits. It feels very nice, very fluid, and it feels like Mario is now a character that you can take into competitive play. His Flood range has been made slightly longer, and that's cool. Flood is the little water backpack thing for people who don't know, who can keep people from getting back on the edge, and his fireballs now fire slightly faster. I've never been a fan of Pikachu, but he was really fun in this demo. I don't really know why. He's a lot faster, a lot smoother. His jump height looks like it's been increased a little bit. His moves have been given much more flair, like he's got a lot more personality now, especially using his side smash. His side smash, he like gets on one foot and does this pose, and it looks really nice. I really love what they've done with the character. I might even pick him up when the actual game comes out. His down B is now, if you get a direct hit, it'll drag characters into you so that you can smash them off. It makes him much less cheesy and much more competitive. Like of a lot of other people, Link was pretty much my main back when the original Smash Brothers came out. Him and Fox, which makes me like everybody else on the planet. But I really like Link. I haven't really played him very much in the newer games, just because there have been so many other good choices. His arrows fire much faster in this game, I noticed. His grab, which is normally his hook shot, or now his claw shot, has a much shorter range but fires much faster. I remember in Melee and Brawl, there would be that time where if you didn't hit anybody, it would just kind of fall to the ground, and he would stare at it for a second and then pull it back, but that's not an issue anymore. It's pretty instant. His running attack now jumps, which is interesting, because if you run and jump attack somebody, then if they're trying to counterattack you with like a down smash or something, you'll jump over their down smash and hit them anyway. It's a nice little level of depth they've added. Other than that, his specials are pretty much all the same. They haven't really done anything to the character very much at all, except make him slightly faster, I guess, to keep up with other characters. You can now Meteor Smash with his down A, but that normally killed characters anyway, so it doesn't really matter if it's a Meteor Smash or not to me. Overall, I don't think Link fans will be disappointed. He plays exactly the same as he did in the other ones, but he keeps up with the characters just fine by being slightly faster, and his grab is now a lot more useful. Yeah, new stuff. Alright, so Mega Man, he is a very fun ranged character. I don't like ranged characters, but I loved playing as Mega Man. His Buster Shot is the best. His Leaf Shield isn't very useful though. His Leaf Shield can block an attack, like a ranged attack, but I don't know, it's got a bit of a startup time. It's really just not as useful as, like, Fox's Deflector, for example. You can shoot it at people, which is kind of cool, but it moves so slowly that it's not actually going to hit anybody anymore. It's just not going to. The Charge Buster is incredibly powerful. It's like a long-range smash attack, and those are just going to dominate the metagame right now, even with how fast it's going. His specials are mostly limited, so like you can't just mash the B button and continuously get metal blades, for example. Like you actually have to kind of time it so that if you use an attack that is a special and it's on the screen, then you have to combine that with regular attacks until it goes off the screen, which is very unique and awesome because it teaches you to not just mash the Buster Cannon button and actually go like special busters until that goes away, another special busters, so on and so forth, and mix up your gameplay a little bit. He's very fun to play as. Finally, the last thing I want to say about him is he has the coolest Final Smash in the entire game. Pretty much, he fires like this dark void thing and sucks somebody into like an alternate dimension, and then all of the iterations of Mega Man come out and just blast the person that you got all at the same time. It's so cool. You have to go on YouTube and look it up if you haven't already. Right, on to the Villager. So the Villager was actually the highest anticipated character for Smash Brothers. Like, he's the one with the most memes. He's the one people were looking forward to the most. I was too. I was just absolutely guaranteed that he was going to be my main until I actually saw his moveset, and the fact that we've actually got a chance to play as him right now is really clever because he was one of the most highly anticipated characters. His damage is very meh. He doesn't do as much damage as anybody else in the demo, nowhere even near. His specials are awful. His specials are so bad, except for his pocket, which proved to be pretty useful, but like his down B, for example, is just never going to be useful in competitive play. His Gyroid is actually pretty useful, but like his up B, it does get him back onto the stage faster, but because you're so vulnerable while doing it, and characters are so powerful now, you're going to get demolished if you use his up B and your opponent has any idea what they're doing. Also, one other kind of negative thing is his side smash, which is the move that you use most often. It has really confusing range. Like, it's short already and feels even shorter when you're using it. Plus, it's got such a stupidly high, like, startup time. I don't know. It's such a strange move. And while you're using it, you're vulnerable. Why would they add punishing frames to something like that? I don't even understand. Don't let me get you down about the Villager, okay? Villager is still fun to play. He's still good. You can figure out a way to make him competitive. I just feel like he's not going to be one of the higher characters. Which honestly is kind of a good thing for you guys, right? Like, a lot of people will try to stray away from characters that get played too much, like too mainstream, I guess you could say, too competitive. And the fact that they didn't make the Villager broken is actually a very smart move, I feel, because pro players won't be picking up Villager and making him an absolute nightmare monster thing. And, like, he's more of a casual character, and he plays like a casual character. You can just pick him, pal around with your friends, or if you're in a group of people who play often, you can pick him up as your main, and people will be really impressed when you win. Overall, he's a very fun character, but I don't feel like he's actually going to go anywhere. If I'm wrong, whatever, but I don't see why anybody would pick him up competitively. This video was much longer than I wanted it to be, but if you liked it, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. Those things really help us YouTubers out. Subscribe if you haven't already to stay up to date on the latest Kudou news, and leave your thoughts on Smash in the comments section below. All this talk about Smash is giving me an itch to play, so I'll see you later.